What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be checking out a title called Guilt the Deathless. This is a procedurally generated roguelike action RPG, I guess is the best way that I would know how to classify it. It's effectively Dark Souls if Dark Souls was proceduralized and then also was completely randomized with different perks and things of that nature. It's got randomized Diablo loot that you can loot along the way. It's also open world. You can move around on the game map and take on whatever challenges and levels you want to take on. The game is about 4 updates into its early access now. I played the original early access, but I wanted to wait until it fleshed out a little bit further before we did a video. I think that waiting about 6 or 7 months is perfectly fair, and I think that their update churn has been acceptable inside of that time frame. I think 3 or 4 major updates in like 8 months is actually pretty good. That's not bad at all. I definitely am used to a lot of games getting like 2 major updates a year, and so that's pretty fast as far as the game is concerned. But we're going to dive on in today and play for about 25-30 minutes and see if it's something that's going to scratch the itch. A fair word of warning, this game does have an art style that is fairly unique. I don't think it's going to jive with everybody. I think some people are going to see the game and be like, this is hideously ugly and I hate it, and other people are actually going to kind of like that about it. It gives it almost like an intentional... I don't really know how to describe it, like an intentional Adult Swim amateurish type of an appearance that once you feel the mechanics, the game actually feels pretty good to play, but it's definitely a choice that they've made to make the game look very, very weird and very, very off-putting, I guess, almost Uncanny Valley-like. And so anyways, that's your warning right there. If after watching this you wanted to get the game for yourself, I got a link for you down below in the description, as always. You'll also find a link to my Discord and my Twitch stream, just in case you wanted to hang out live. I think this week we were playing some Zero Sievert. I think we're playing some Dave the Diver, all that kind of stuff, just in case you wanted to get a little bit deeper on into any of the games that I've been playing here on the channel over the course of the week. But with my intro all nice and out of the way, let's go ahead and play, because it's going to take us a little bit to get into the game proper. And so anyways, first thing we got to do is we've got to make a character. And like I said, Uncanny Valley. Did I not say very, very, very Uncanny Valley with the character designs? We'll just go with Splattercat over here. We've got to pick a head. Sure, that seems fine to me. We got to pick a face. Yeah, dude, let's get the rad woad paint, dude. Let's get our black metal on, sure. As far as hair is concerned, we can have kind of like a fro. I mean, honestly, I feel like the fro is always a good call. We've already got like the handlebar mustache right there, the burn sides, man. We can change up our hair color though. What color hair do we want it? Yeah, that seems all right to me. That seems to fit with the overall thing that I'm doing. And we can pick a faction. Picking your faction is basically going to determine what your special ability is. In this game, you have a limit break style ability that as you land hits and slay enemies, it fills up. It can be everything from like a massive heal to a bunch of damage that you get, to splitting the difference between your damage and your missing HP in order to make you hit really hard like a berserker. It's also going to change the color of your clothing when you start out, in case you were wondering. And it looks like some of these guys end up with cooler armor than others. I'm going to take the heal, because the heal for a bad player like me just seems like a thing that I'm going to need, even though it leaves me in this very, very unflattering moo-moo of an outfit. All right, let's go. You do have 2 separate options when you start out in this game. You can play offline or you can play online. As I understand it, when you play online, it incorporates some kind of like invasion system, almost like Death Stranding style, where people can mess with your run or they can assist your run. I haven't really fiddled around with it too much because I'm not a big integrated multiplayer guy. I'm very much like a single player guy, and so unfortunately, didn't really get to play around with it too much, but the game controls exactly like you would expect it to control. WASD, and then all of your attacks and whatnot on the mouse. We can use our shield right there. I do think the shield animation could definitely use a little bit more lower body movement, upper body movement, a little bit more weight to it. Right now it's like, oof, I'm just fanning myself. I got the vapors. But I don't know. Let's continue on, and Q to lock onto enemies. There he is. I was like, where's the enemy at, dude? Let's go ahead and stab this guy up. We can also do like a dodge move, and as you can see, the enemy's health is up above us. We're stabbing people with a broken ore right now, which is obviously not super optimal. Let's go ahead and swap on over to this rusty sword right here, because that's going to give us a little bit more of an attack animation to play around with rather than just one big thrust. You are going to find loot laying around the field of combat like this over here. You should definitely check that out. It's going to give you different weapons, different armor. That armor and those weapons can have different grades of rarity that will add modifiers, or I guess affixes to it that allow you to, like, you know, get magical strikes. They allow you to get more stats, things of that nature. Go ahead and light that guy up real fast. That didn't drop him. Okay, I didn't want you to drop anyways. We got a red fruit right there. That's a healing item. We'll go ahead and run up on this guy. And down the enemy goes. I don't think there's anything else in this area that I really want to get my hands on, so we'll just carry on up the stairs. I really like the environmental design of this game and the lighting effects that they have chosen to use. I think it gives the game a very, very identifiable look. However, the character models, like the personal character model, not a huge fan of it. Already brought that up, so I'm not going to linger on it for too long, but the player characters, animations, and model are just like one of those things that I really think could use a sprucing up to be made to have a little bit more weight, a little bit more movement, a little bit more swing, a little bit more just kind of like density. Just make it look a little bit nicer, but the enemies and the environments, I think they look great. Let's carry on through the gate to the next area and see what's waiting for us. All right, so we're inside of a big spooky area. Yeah, sure, I'll walk into that. Why not? That thing's obviously a friend. He's probably going to gift upon me massive amounts of loot and also aid me in my quest. Now, this game does incorporate a couple of different mechanics. Some of them you've seen already, like the health and the stamina down in the bottom, but you might have noticed that there's kind of like a purple bar down there. That's your sanity. So as you move around on the world map, your sanity goes down because you're in some kind of weird, insane clown posse, insano realm, and as your sanity goes down, when it gets to 0, it's going to cost you health to move on the map. And you can only restore your sanity by using items and by defeating bosses. And that's going to be the fundamental kind of, I guess, catalyst that keeps you moving through the map and not dithering too long in order to gather up crazy overpowered amounts of gear. There's also a mechanic called Guilt that they haven't introduced to us yet because, like, the main storyline hasn't begun. We're kind of in the little tutorial area. But I'll explain to you how Guilt works in a little bit just as soon as they unlock that, because it should be coming up right after we get a beautiful little snuggle from this massive little, I don't know, toothy monster, dude. This dentition monster.
Do not fear. These newly unearthed monstrosities are as common as they are trivial. I'm sure you know who I am. Some refer to me as Cachet. But worry not. The tales you've heard are but relics. As you can see, our world has become entrapped in an unseen spiral of decay, folded away in time. Do you wish to save it? I must enlist the reinforcement of mortals such as yourself. Who or what caused this calamity, I do not know. Accept this thread. It shall connect us, granting you further protection on the trail. Trust in the thread. It will guide you. Now, make for the groaning library of Morkov, far beyond these lands. Perhaps there we shall find answers. Make haste, Threadbearer, before our world rots further.
Can I just talk about the fact that our character's guyliner game is on point right now? Like, we are bringing it as we sashay through the enemy. So yeah, now we have the threadbare knot, which has been added to the bottom left-hand corner. This is basically how you keep count of your guilt. So as you go through the game, there are going to be certain things that cost you guilt, like opening a door or taking an item from somebody else that you found dead on the side of the road. If your guilt gets up too high, bad things are going to happen. Now, when you look at it, it's got those little orbs going in a circle around the number. That's how many times we can revive, basically, from what I've seen so far in the 2 or 3 hours that I spent with the game. The number in the middle is how much guilt we have accumulated. When we run out of sanity, every movement on the world map is going to damage our main red health for the amount of guilt that we have acquired. There are ways to banish guilt, so usually every time you kill a boss, you lose some guilt. There are items you can craft from very, very rare essences around that will allow you to dispel guilt. There are ways to manage it, and it is, in fact, the fundamental mechanic of the game that cannot be ignored. Oh my god, I've got myself like a little... Dude, I've got myself a little scarf now, bro. I'm looking fancy out here. It's not really even a scarf, dude. It's like an ascot. We're taking this back like Scooby-Dooby-Doo style, man. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? Okay, so welcome to the world map. The way forward is obstructed by a great monstrosity, and the path will open up before you when you slay it. Beware, regions are deeply sullied and haunted by guilt. Steer clear if you value your life. All right. So all of these little icons you see, these are dungeons. We can go crawl in these dungeons, and we get rewards for being in these dungeons that you can see at the bottom. So for example, this one right here has Rizulkas. It has a storm cloud modifier on it, which means that we need to dodge lightning strikes the entire time we're in there. But the lightning strikes will also damage enemies, which can actually be a huge boon that makes your life easier. And then if we complete it, we get rare leg wear. We get 3 white essences, 2 red essences, and no black essences. The black essences, or the black beads, I don't even really know what to call them. I guess I'll call them beads. White and red beads, pretty common. You get those all the time. Black beads, much more rare, and those are what you're going to use to craft the flask that get rid of your guilt so that you can stack on more gear. On the map, there's also going to be shops. There's going to be characters that you meet whose storylines develop as you play the game over and over again, dying and coming back to run again. And so anyways, you'll want to pay attention to these storyline threads because they matter. They characterize the world. We're going to move forward. That only cost us 2 of our sanity. And we'll go talk to Dimitri first.
Oh, hello. This probably doesn't look good, does it? Call me Dimitri. I entertained this poor fool to death. Help yourself to his belongings. Nothing of interest here for me. You're one of those threadbearers, aren't you? Quite an aura, I'll give you that. May the winds of chance dictate whether we meet again. Might be a gamble, though. For you.
All right, so this is going to be our first option. Do we want to take on Guilt in order to get a free Rusty Key? Rusty Keys can be used to, so every single dungeon has a beginning and an exit and stuff in between that. However, sometimes in dungeons there's going to be locked chests or locked doors. That's going to be optional content inside the dungeon that you can open up or not, depending on how many keys you have, how you've been managing your keys, and whether or not you want to use them. And those usually lead you to much more powerful gear that's like much rarer and much stronger. I think I will take 1 Rusty Key. Unfortunately, we just robbed the dead man, so that made my guilt go up. We'll try to figure out a way to get rid of the guilt as we play through the game by finding like a blood altar or something like that along the way. We've got a savage bog over there with a shield. We don't have any money right now, so I don't think we're going to be able to do much on that end. I'm going to make my way towards the boss, I think. I can't really do anything with the Forge because we don't have any money, but the Forge is a place where you can buy weapons and armor and random items. This place right here gives us 4 white beads, 1 red bead, and no black beads. It's got storm clouds, contains a rare cape, and it's filled with shamblers. All right, let's go shamble it up. Deep down into our first dungeon. Let's have a look. Let's see what we find. That's a lightning strike right there. Unless you really, really, really like being ionized, I would avoid getting hit by it. A miasmite. Oh, he's burning to death because the lightning strike lit off an oil field. Very nice. Those little yellow things that are coming out of enemies, when they die, that's money. In this game, specifically bones. The entire economy in this game functions off of severed bones in order to keep with kind of like the atmosphere and ambience of the game. There's a red fruit over here that's basically a healing potion. I'll go ahead and pick that up. The game does give you a mini-map to help you navigate, but I would recommend checking in every corner because there is loot hidden around. This right here is an Iron Maiden. We get guilt, but we also get an item. This would give us a Frost Nova rune. Runes can be inscribed on your gear. You can put them on your weapons and whatnot, and they give you kind of spammable rad abilities that deal a ton of damage. I'm not going to take it for right now. Those guys just blasted the hell out of me. We killed 1, though, so I'm happy for that. A lot of dodging in and dodging out in this game. Oh, a free Rusty Key. Well, I wish I hadn't taken the guilt then. That makes me feel guilty. A little bit of money right there. Lightning strikes going off just everywhere at the moment. Oh, did I block that in time? I did. Okay, I feel better. I thought I ate it, but we didn't eat it. I got a whole bunch of money out of that chest right there, and then we also got an armor enchantment. Alas, we are quite nude right now, so unfortunately I don't want to waste it, but we do have a cape over here, and I do have a key, so we'll go ahead and take that. It is a Drifter's Cape. It gives us 6 endurance and 1% vampirism on our attacks, and as you can see, he's automatically equipped it because we didn't have anything in our cape slot. This brings me to my next point. Unfortunately, this game has a lot of clipping issues with its armor. That's something that I think needs to be cleaned up post-haste. It just kind of adds a level of unprofessionality to the presentational aspects of the game that I think a lot of people are going to notice. It is possible that maybe I'm the only person on Earth that cares about clipping armor graphics and whatnot, but it's been a pet peeve of mine for a long time, so I would love to see that basically fixed up. I don't like it when our cape is doing what it's doing right now and clipping through our back. It's just like, nyeh. I will use a key on this gate because maybe there's something good in here. We're going to feel really, really foolish, though. Yeah, there's a lot of enemies over here. The enemies in this game, they do infight, as you can see. Different enemies and factions and things do not like each other. So, like, undead will beef with the wildlife, and the wildlife will beef with plague creatures. Everybody fights everybody. It's just the way it goes in this game, and then usually you can kind of just clean up the remainder. We've got a chest over here. I think I will take that. What you got for me? An Ice Lance rune. Okay, I'll think about it. We'll go ahead. Oh, okay, I got chewed on a little bit. I got a little over greedy. Not gonna lie to you. Don't step in the boogery fluid. They leave on the ground. It hurts. It's very stingy. I'm gonna go ahead and grab all my bones over here. We are in water. That means if we get hit by lightning, we're gonna take a lot more damage, and it's gonna hurt like hell. But I don't have any plans on getting struck by the Thunder God right now, so I'm just going to write it out. Another key, actually. Okay, we've got a lot more keys on this run than I had on my last run. My last run, I was constantly just hurting for keys, and unfortunately, it made me think that maybe keys are a very, very rare resource, so I grabbed the key first on this run, but it looks like the randomization is kind of in full swing at the moment, because we've got lots of keys this time, and in fact, I have no armor. Last run, I had all the gear and all the weapons and all the armor in the world, but I had no keys. It was like the opposite of what we've got going on right now. And ain't that the way that proceduralism always seems to go? Some bone gloves right there. Yeah, I'll take that. Rizolkas, they're going to zap me. And in fact, they're going to be very successful at zapping me. I'm going to try to stay out of the way for a minute, but I got lots of trees and graphics and things in the way that are just kind of like eating up my line of sight. And we've got a gambler's chest over there or something. I'm going to pop my special ability to get my health back. We're just going to kind of wait a second to see what the Rizolka does. If you don't know what a Rizolka is a malevolent spirit of a murdered woman that lives out in a lake or a body of water or like a tributary. And she comes to the edge of the water all nude and sexy-like, and she tries to bait men into the water so that she can drown them in revenge for having been murdered. Yeah, I'll open up the chest, sure. We got an Iron Cuirass, I'll take that. Another key and a Frost Nova rune. Now we're actually looking like a bit of a warrior right now. I mean, we still have like a loincloth on, but if we can find some leg plates or something, I think that'll be absolutely great. I don't see any other problems around here, although it looks like we did have maybe a branching path going off over here, maybe? Can I break this right here? It looks like there's a path that goes off this way. No, it doesn't look like I can break it. Okay, never mind. Never mind, I don't want to break it anyways. The game does have a crafting system, so if you come inside of here, you can see we've got all of our enchantments and whatnot. Oh, God, yeah, Thunder God's taking advantage of my staring at my inventory. Ow! Okay, that was a quicker swing than I expected. We also have like an Estus flask. You can see it down on the bottom left. If we press R, it'll restore our health. There is a lot of healing in this game, I think largely due to the fact that the game is kind of very heavily a roguelite with like progression in between runs and whatnot. And so the game doesn't lean quite as aggressively in the direction of being very limited on healing as some other action RPGs do. I haven't really been that short on healing the entire time I've played the game. Sometimes it gets a little bit tight when I'm near bosses, but like that should be the case. Bosses should be a threat. Go ahead and wipe out a few more zombies here. There we go. Got another chest on this side. I do want it, and it looks like it had a whole bunch of just motes inside of it. I think the red motes might be healing me, but I wasn't really watching my health meter while I was looting it. Nothing inside the fronds over there. So we'll carry on to the left and see if we can get out of here. Well, that zombie tried to take a swipe at me. How dare you, sir? Another rusty key. All right, well, our loot is secure for the future. I'm going to take a look and see what my equipment's doing for me in just a second when we get out of here, but not a bad dungeon for the amount of stuff that we picked up, if I'm being honest with you. We found some refuse here that we could just casually and carelessly strap to our body that seems to be working out pretty well. We've got a rescue mission right there and a rune weaver over there. Inside of here, it looks like that gives us vitality, and whenever we kill somebody, we get health back. What does vitality do for me? There we go. I can see more now. So strength is going to increase our damage. Endurance gives us stamina and regeneration. Vitality gives us health. Intellect makes our spells better. And passion makes our limit break charge up faster. Okay, very, very nice. And then we've got like resistances and stuff down here too, which I assume are going to be important at some point. And so while the game is not much of a looker, it does have all those things in there that you tend to look for when it comes to playing an RPG. What do we have going on with our gloves? 2 defense, it gives us crit, and it raises our passion. Okay, sounds good. We still need shoes, a shield, some rings, a helmet. This is the crafting menu. It was just added in the last patch that dropped a little bit ago before the recording. There's not a whole lot to it just yet, but I do think that having a crafting system is a really, really good idea. Crafting is rad. Everybody loves it. We have a shield right here that's better than a spear right here that's better than what we have. So I think I will probably equip it. Although, there we go. I don't know, my inventory locked up on me or something. Now we've got a spear. It does more damage than what we had. It has a crit chance. It's got extra damage versus beasties. So that sounds pretty good. We can also salvage our gear to get parts. Now that we have a better weapon, I actually would not be against inscribing a rune on this thing. Yeah, put a rune on it. I want to see what it does. And let's go do the rescue mission. I think when we rescue people, our guilt goes down or something. Yeah, there's a lot of enemies around here. They came out of nowhere. Let's dodge on back. I'm just going to kind of bait swings where I can. There we go. Oh, these guys are elites. They hit pretty hard. Okay. I don't have any charges for my magic right now, which is kind of a bummer. Wish that I did have. Oh, I killed one with a crit. Nice. That crit was actually pretty chunky. And the other nice thing is that their swings are actually cleaving each other, too. So when they're in a big group like that, they kind of get punished for it. A crooked tray pan. Yeah, what a tray pan does, I don't know. Oh, apparently I've gained guilt. All right. Did my rescue die? Oh, God. Okay, yeah, I don't even know what's happened here. Apparently everything has gone wrong. Never did a rescue mission before. Kind of played for a while, killed the first boss, restarted to see how things proceduralized. Sir, I'm going to need that to... Ow, dude. Okay. All right, yeah. I think some healing would probably be a good idea. A little bit of this and that. We got some boots right there. That's good. Extra defense appreciated. Get a stab off. He's got some reach on him, too. Don't he? Oh, okay. Hated that. Never want to do that again. I never want to get bit again. Giant dudes, they've got no rhythm. I do have some charges of magic here, so I'm going to go ahead and give that a try. Seems like it did some damage. I didn't mind it. Let's just try to stay away from him for a minute, though. Big opportunity. Very nice. Also a big opportunity for me to get smacked in the mouth, so that's fun. The hitboxes in the game do seem to be pretty tight as far as weaving in between bullets and whatnot, and that's actually, I think, the reason why the game has such a high viewpoint. There we go. Got him. What did I get? I got a leather whip, and it's a rare whip. It does more damage against the undead, and it's got very high vampirism. What does the attack animation look like on it? I actually kind of dig that. Normally, I don't like whip-like weapons in games, but I actually kind of like that. I think I'm going to run it. All right, what did our boots do for us that we just picked up? Critical hit chance and passion? Okay, that's fine. I guess we will leave. I'm about to get my limit break pretty soon, so I think we'll be all right. I'm guessing that I have a limited amount of time to wipe out the enemies right there, and then I rescue someone, and it removes my guilt. But if I screw it up, and it takes me too long, and I was actually playing kind of like fancy-dancy and staying away, it seems like we gain guilt. Fair enough. Fair enough. There's a blood altar over there, and I think the blood altar lets us get rid of guilt, too. Don't need a rune weaver right now, I don't think. Yeah, let's go to the brine wagon. Why not? This should allow me to refill some of my flasks. There we go. And it refilled my health. Very nice. Ooh, we got like a big club over here. Ooh, it's got +1 to +6 damage. Yeah, I want the, give me the club. Give me the, yeah, you can find me with the club. Bottle full of bub, mommy. I got what you need if you into. All right, so we'll grab that right there. That is quite a large club. That's, okay. Yeah, that solves some problems right there. Let's go ahead and salvage off the spear, I suppose. Hey, and we got our Nova rune back, dude. Nice. Although Ice Lance seems pretty cool. Let's try out Ice Lance. And that gave us an armor enchant. Oh, no, it gave us a weapon enchant for vampirism. Okay. Use it at a forge to add a rare enchant to your weapon. I will strongly think about that. We've got a mud golem lair over here. Yeah, let's do the mud golem, I guess. I could probably, that gives us a black moat too, which is like really, really useful because it'll let me get rid of some guilt. So, ooh. Apparently this place is haunted, so it changes up the color theme. Gotcha. Wow, we crunched that guy. My man got smacked. I will take a healing item. That sounds good. We got like a big mud golem over here. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, he's got like a fireback. Woo! Parried that second one, but definitely got a little bit of heat on that golem right there. He likes to hit. I don't like this little vignette they've got going on. Like, it's got almost like a granularity to it. It's very jarring to the eye. But I can heal myself with my... Ow. Yo. It's probably for the best that I've got enough to heal myself because I need to heal myself right now. We've got some iron gauntlets right there. I'll take them. We'll take a look at them, see if they're any good. Yeah, it's definitely got like a look to it. What's inside of here? The Drifter's Cape. It's got 6 endurance and 3 intellect. Probably won't use it, but... I kind of like the vampirism stat. It helps make up for how trash I am. Man, this club doesn't play around. This whooping stick, it takes care of business. All right, well, let me see if I can figure a way out of here. Probably down this way would be my guess. I think they are going to have to increase the transparency on some of the tree limbs and things that get in the way while you're trying to fight. I have noticed that they do seem to intrude from time to time. Not all the time, but they definitely seem to get in the way here and there. Oh, I didn't have enough for a follow-up. Okay. There we... Ah, my butt! I've been stabbed in my butt. You guys gonna die for me? I would like you to die for me. Oh, he's elite. Gotcha. Well, that explains what's going wrong here. We got a bunch of altars over here. We can get a shield, which is better than our current shield by about 5%, and it reflects damage at the enemy. We've also got a short spear over here. It's not bad. I mean, it's got a lot of damage on it. I guess it just depends if you... we're at 3 guilt right now. I'd like to keep my guilt a little bit lower. The Bastion Cuirass. Take less damage when at full HP. Your move speed goes up. I think I'm going to keep my damage on kill. That feels better to me. Got to be getting close to the end of this thing. Oh, they're fighting over here. Well, let's just let that run its course. Ooh, he don't like the Ice Lance. Okay, the Ice Lance takes care of business. Yeah. All right, knock them out real quick. Collect my bones. An armor enchant. I got to be at a forge to use that, though. Each nearby enemy gives you 1% crit. You can see that is working. Yeah, let's get out of here. I don't like the... It's got like a camera... It's got a film grain effect that I don't like on that haunted event right there. Domovoy wares. Let's sneak around. A level 1 Mud Golem, Clear Weather, Rare Cape. I think our sanity is still good. it's nighttime. I was like, what happened? As you can see, everything levels up at night. Let's go to the blood altar. I guess I can only use it once. Okay, that's fine. One less guilt is perfectly fine by me. I'm all right with that. Let's go over to... I don't know if I want to do another lair or if I just want to, like, beeline for the boss. I mean, we've got another brine wagon over here, so... Ooh, a rare helmet? Yeah, we could use that. Let's do it. Rare helmet, clear weather. Yeah, that's a weird enemy. All right. Oh, God. Okay, didn't like that either. An elite servant. All right, well, I'm going to, like... We got problems, actually. And while we deal with those problems, actually, I think it's probably time to go ahead and, like, bullet point some observations about the game, because we need to close out the video. I played Guilt the Deathless back during its release in April, and it was, like, really, really rough, so I was kind of instantly turned off, so I shelved it, and I've come back now after, like, 7 or 8 months, and I am actually happy to say that it's coming together. Like, I'm never cheering for any game to kind of be a jumbled mess. That's not ever what I want. I'm always in support of indie developers and the indie scene. You know, their success ends up being my success. And so anyways... it's coming together. The pieces are starting to fit, and you're starting to see how they connect. And they've got a responsive dev team that, as I understand, is very much listening to the community and hitting the ground running with suggestions, which is really good motivation to see. From what they've assembled so far, like I said, you can feel the pieces connecting and how the greater systems are going to interact. On the front of voice acting, sound effects, sound tracking, they've all been fine to good, actually. Weapons feel appropriately smashy, stabby, and slashy when they need to, and the dodging felt pretty good and responsive as well. The little bits of voice acting that I've heard all seem to be delivered perfectly fine, like I couldn't really hear anything wrong with it. It all seemed up to snuff for me. The enemies do feel a little bit muted with regards to difficulty, and I never really struggled too much against them. And so anyways, the game might want to be a little tiny bit more threatening so that it like lines up with the very weird and bloody and foreign apocalyptic world that it inhabits. During combat, hitboxes have actually felt fair to excellent, actually. Especially during the bullet hell sections of bosses, where I personally fully expected to take like bullshit hits. Based on the isometry. That's a very, very, like, iconic thing that always happens in isometric games, is you'll eat, like, a bullet during, like, a bullet hell section and just be like, hey, what happened? And, like, it doesn't feel fair. Never really happened with this game. The bullets and the hitboxes all seem to be very, very tight. They feel pretty good to me. And so, anyways, it's a really good thing as well. As far as most of the weapons go, they all kind of feel the same. Like clubs, axes, swords, they all kind of have like samey animations, and I think that should probably change. I think every weapon type should basically have its own light combo and its own heavy attack so that people can pick and choose what they like. The spear did have separate stab attacks and whatnot, but a lot of the other things seem to share animations. The armor graphics look good, but clipping does happen pretty frequently between the armor pieces and the capes, especially. It gets stuck, and it just kind of looks weird. They'll want to get that kind of polished out. I did like how customizable the game is. Like, it does feel like there's a lot of gear and a lot of items and a lot of Diablo-style options to, like, customize, adding magic spells and things to your gear while trying to get the stats you want for the build that you want. And so I actually really, really liked the variety of things. While the in-game UI is pretty good, I did find that the inventory was kind of clunky and could use some streamlining. And then they could get some more satisfying sound effects for the picking up of, like, bones and currencies and things that are rattling around on the ground. I did like the guilt system. The guilt system is an interesting idea in the way that it's been interleaved with the underlying crafting systems and the overworld system. The thought that there's kind of this stat that ticks upwards towards your death and your doom every time you take a bonus item or like a permanent buff is actually a really good idea, and I especially like that you can only get rid of it through specifically targeting blood altars where you sacrifice your health or by doing kind of great Herculean deeds. That's the really good hook for gameplay right there. I like that a lot. That in combination with the weirdness of the game's aesthetic, I feel like if they continue to polish and refine that idea, is definitely going to lead to something good. I think for now, however, it's safe to say the game is very much early access. There are things that feel good. There are other things that definitely could be tightened up, both with regards to gameplay and the aesthetic and the visual aspect of the game. But the good news is that the devs are working on it. They seem to be aware of it, and they seem to be very in tune with their community. And it seems like they've been able to implement a lot of the fixes and suggestions that the community's put out there while maintaining putting out content as well over the last 7 months. And so I'm hopeful for this one. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. Today, we had Guilt the Deathless. Tomorrow, we will have something else. Thank you for sharing your time with me, and that's about all I've got for you. Bye, folks.